So, Kennedy said to, read 800 to 1,000 words a minute. It's also on record as having one of the fastest speeches in American history, about 300 words a minute. But if he could read 800 words a minute, but talk at 300, there's 500 words per minute he's not pronouncing. You do not have to pronounce to be able to understand stuff. And then finally, the fourth obstacle to effective reading is this thing called regression. Have you ever found yourself going back and rereading words? Or like you're reading something in a whole line, you end up reading by mistake, you back skip and reread a whole line? That's a challenge. That can waste up to 20% of your time, just according to reading research, just rereading stuff unconsciously. Fifth obstacle, and this is a big one, belief. And I think 80% of success is still that soft stuff, and I think all behavior is belief driven. And so you have to reevaluate, what you think you're capable of. And, I do these exercises, these body exercises, people kind of feel stuff, but it's, but you have to change those limiting beliefs because all behavior is belief driven. And so some people think that they're a slow reader, they're not smart enough. It's the same thing about how much you think you're worth as a speaker, same thing about who you are as evaluate those kind of beliefs. And obviously there's many different tools or modalities that you have, from hypnotherapy to tapping to whatever you do to get over them.
Do you have time to tell us how to break the habit of sub-vocalization?
Sub-vocalization, so we do, I haven't thought, so I believe that there's no magic pill, but there's processes, right? And so I don't think there's a quick fix for it, and I'm not claiming to have a photographic memory or people would have a photographic memory, but I'm saying for things like for reading, I do these speed drills, but the quick tips like brain hacks, some things that have been reported to work potentially for some percentage of the population, counting, like some people will count inside their mind when they read, meaning that what'll happen is that if you're saying 1, 2, 3, 4 inside your mind, it's hard to read also. You know, have that. Some people like bite their knuckles while they read or something like that. I don't think it's very sanitary, but because some people when they read, they move their lips, right? And so it's anything that interrupts that pattern. But when we have these these 7-week online self-paced programs where people we get people at massive speeds, but a lot of what we teach is not so much speed reading, but it's really smart reading. Things that even if you want to read it faster, you just want to just get more out of it, right? I remember recently, not so recent, a few years ago, I get a call out of nowhere saying, hey, I hear you got to come in and we need you to speak tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, this usually book months, how do you get my number and everything? But the speaker couldn't come in because of weather or whatever to New York, and I was like, well, what can I do? It's like, what's the topic, even if I was available, it tells me. I was like, I know nothing about it. He's like, well, yeah, but he wrote a book. I'm like, yes, so? He's like, well, you're a speed reader. I'm like, oh, okay. and I'm like, you have this memory. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is really going to cost you. The keynote's at 11:30. I get there at 9 o'clock. I read the book and then I present it. And it was one of the most well-received presentations, not because I've never had a minute of speaking training. It's just, I just don't want people to suffer the way I did. You know what I mean? So I ended up, as a kid, because I had these learning challenges, when I got to college, I struggled my entire childhood. When I got to college, I wanted to start fresh, and